Fit for Life Radio, episode number 88, I think.
It's 88. I said that like I'm sure. I'm not even sure, I swear.
We need a whiteboard. So
We should get a whiteboard or a blackboard. Chalkboard.
last night I went to the best of here in coastal Virginia. They have every year like the best of and then different categories for businesses. And we were best of gym.
Always.
So I got to go. And I should have gotten tickets for everyone, maybe next year.
I mean,
because it's a cool event. The theme was the Roaring 20s. And you know how parties always have themes?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, should I
Did you dress up?
dress up for this? And I was like, nah. I mean, I wore, like
A polo?
a polo.
I know what you wore.
With a tucked-in T-shirt. But people...
Did they go all in?
They went all out, like the suits with the vests and the hats.
Mm-hmm.
And, the women wearing like those type of flapper dresses. And there was a costume contest winner or something. But, yeah. In my mind, I would go all out and no one else would.
Okay, so I was going to say, that's like the risk you run because you don't know like how...
Mm-hmm.
Like, how into this is everybody else? And you don't want to be the one person wearing, like, a costume and everyone else is just dressed normal. And then you're like, damn, I'm the weird guy.
Yep.
But then in your case, you're the guy that wasn't, like, into it enough to dress up. So.
And then they had a band that's real popular in the area in Richmond, kind of playing that type of music. It was cool.
Some 20s music.
But then the fun thing was, and they had... So with the event, you got like a drink ticket. They had specialty cocktails from restaurants, but also they had 10 or 15 local restaurants, and they all had different foods. And you would go try all the food, and you got a coin, and then you would drop the coin at the place that was your favorite, and then that would be the best restaurant. And so yeah, I ate all of them, all the things.
You got to try them all.
And so I know the winner was I didn't stay. That guy. I mean, 9 p.m. is my normal bedtime. The party was till 9. I left at 8:45.
You did pretty good.
And
I'm proud of you.
But it was going to be satay.
Yeah.
And they're a food truck actually in the peninsula, right?
Yeah, they're
cool.
legit.
And they're opening a restaurant. But so here's where I'm at. It's so hard because some things were like they make s'mores, right? These little s'more bites, and some things were more like meat and cheese and.
Do you feel like they cheated?
So satay, their thing was a macaroni and cheese spring roll dumpling things. Mm-hmm. So it's basically like macaroni and cheese, like fried macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Right? And they also had these little deviled eggs, like bacon, like little hunks of bacon in them. Those were good too. They were both really good. But I feel like just it's too easy, right?
Yeah.
There was one place, a restaurant, and I'm gonna forget the name of them. And this is who I gave my token to. They had this little beef tartare.
Ooh, I saw that. How was it?
Dude, it was good. And there was a little. I don't know if you saw too, like this little bread thing, right? It's just like it's like this big. Like the size of a nickel, super thin, like thinner than a penny. It's one bite worth of this little bread thing, and it was, dude, that thing alone.
Was it the best nickel of bread you've ever had?
I mean, it was dude, it was good. Like the crunch, the flavor, and then with the soft beef tartare and some little spices in there, herbals. It was good. It was a good bite. So, and part of it might be too because I'm somewhat partial to beef. I don't eat a ton of fried food. Well, partial to beef, but also it was just simple, So theirs was really good. We had.
How was the s'mores?
The s'mores that was probably.
See, that intrigued me.
That was John's favorite.
Was it?
And that's their company, S'mores or More. Mm-hmm. And of course, you eat s'mores. It's like super nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
And then it's nice because it's in this little easy to eat square, and I posted the video where they're like flaming it up.
That's dope.
And now I wish I would have gone back and got a second because we got the original. They also had another one that was made like a blondie style. And yeah, it was good.
That was ballin'. I would try them out. I think we might. They're in Norfolk, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we were going to try them out sometime.
And then there was, pull up my stories here so I can name these places. I don't have the name for this place. So it was funny. There's a pizza place doing pizza, and I've been watching that one dude who does the pizza reviews.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh God.
Dave Portnoy.
Yeah. Dave
And
Portnoy.
with what's his whole thing? The main thing that they did, the sports.
Barstool. Yeah.
With Barstool. He does the pizza reviews, which are oddly just mesmerizing.
They are.
And
Dude, that's what got us through quarantine.
So now I'm like looking at the pizza, looking under it, looking at the undercarriage.
Check the crust on it.
And so when we went, I wanted a pepperoni, and they were all gone at the time, but they had some fresh, which I don't like. I would never pick this. Is a chicken barbecue pizza. So instead of pizza sauce, it's barbecue sauce. Which that right there, I'm like, it's pizza, but it just doesn't taste like pizza.
It doesn't have the spirit of pizza.
Yeah, exactly. And I ate it, and it was actually very good. But in my mind, I was like, I want to try the pepperoni to base it off of. So I came back later and got the pepperoni. But the pepperoni wasn't as good as the chicken barbecue.
I feel like your pepperoni's got to be like your flagship.
Yeah.
It's got to be your best slice.
Like that, just so the way.
Was
So
it
I realized,
was it thin crust?
like Dave Portnoy, I do like the thinner, crispier type of pizza. But and this could have just been the batch, like the barbecue chicken. Like you bite into it, the flavors, the sauce, it was all hitting. The pepperoni was just Was it like cafeteria pizza?
It was
no. I mean, it was cooked well and it was crispy and all that was good. The flavor from the sauce was just
you didn't get that tang.
not hitting. Mob Jack Tavern had like these little meatballs. Those were good with like sauce.
I feel like that place is over in Gloucester.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
believe
think
so.
I think I've driven past it before.
Then the Satay Kitchen.
Dude, so I'm surprised. So satay is normally like that egg roll is kind of like it's good, but I feel like their best thing is literally just meat and rice and veggies. And so I expected that to be what they brought to the table.
Yeah. No, they knew.
Because I feel like you would have liked that better, but they weren't.
And then Duck Donuts was there. I was like, really? We all know. Which their donuts are good.
Yeah, but
they had like they gave you a generous portion too. They were like probably 5 little
munchkins
donut balls, and they had cinnamon ones, like regular ones, some other one, and then there was 3 different glazes, a caramel glaze, and 2 other glazes. Donuts, right?
Donut.
They were donuts. So it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. And there was like a lot of people there. So seeing some people, I knew and all that. Then they had like an area which I guess this probably went into the 20s theme. There's like a card table. You could play cards, photo booth, things like that.
Count cards.
Yeah, you're in there just trying to win, picking fights. But yeah, it was fun.
No, that's dope.
So
now I got some places to try. Where was the tartar from?
I'm looking. I have a list with all the places. I'll recognize it when I see it.
Tartar.
I actually think it was the restaurant that was at the hotel.
Oh, really?
Which was the Founders Inn in Virginia Beach.
Oh, the old Founders Inn. I've been kicked out of that place a few times.
The Swan Terrace.
The Swan Terrace.
Yeah. Real fancy.
Yeah.
But I asked the dude. They must have had some like intern working the booth because I was like, I was like, what kind of steak is this, man? Like, I want to know the cut, like where it was coming from. What
was the cow's name?
Was it ribeye? Was it from the sirloin? Was it from the chuck?
He didn't know, did he?
And he didn't know, but he was just like, he told me it was like Angus something. I'm like, well, yeah, that's a freaking cow.
Yeah, I didn't ask what type of cow it was.
And he's like, is all I know is it's like $28 a pound. I was like, okay. So I'm gonna imagine at $28 a pound, it definitely wasn't like a tenderloin, right? So
tenderloin will probably be like
even more,
$35-$40 a pound.
It was fattier,
so
it was
probably
like a ribeye.
Ribeye, yeah,
that's what I figured. So
it's pretty standard.
I was just trying to impress him, and I realized I just put him in a tough spot.
He didn't even know.
Yeah,
he probably got fired. Thanks a lot, man. How you gonna do that to somebody?
All right. So
it's time to dig in.
We're not just talking about food.
We could probably do that, and that'd be fine.
We're talking about
brushing your teeth, man.
Brushing your teeth. Even more so. So we're talking about self-care strategies.
Take care of yourself.
Obviously, brushing your teeth is important, but we're talking more like self-care overall to where, yeah, that's a reason a lot of people start wanting to exercise and eat better. And exercise and eating better are forms of self-care.
But they're not the only form.
Yeah, beyond that. And there's a great article from Precision Nutrition by Camille de Puter. Puter?
You wanted to say pooter.
Yeah, so like we thought there's some great tips in there. So kind of go over those, share them with you guys. Because it's something that a lot of people ask about and can benefit from. So 3 self-care strategies. Some of these you'll probably have heard us mentioned in older podcasts sporadically, but we're going to put them all together.
Condense them down.
And the first is just do something, right? Start with 5 to 10 minutes a day of starting to prioritize
Which
yourself.
seems so simple.
This could be anything.
So what are we talking here? It could be like
Just making a list of
go for a 5-minute walk.
Yep, 5-minute activities you can do. And again, nutrition and exercise are good forms of self-care, but a lot of times you need to have stuff to set you up to even have time for those. So that's where, just creating a little journal, starting to track your day, take time to even give yourself a chance to have time. I think that's the main intent for like a 5-minute day habit is just to start reflecting.
To give yourself time to do something. Or reflect on what you have to do or what you have done. Because I feel like a lot of people don't give themselves enough time. Like the day's just jam-packed full of stuff, and there's no room for yourself.
Yep, and even doing a little 5-minute gratitude journal is good. Just because then instead of it's easy for us to focus on all things we're not doing or should be doing or don't have. If you focus on what you do have, all of a sudden it's a shift of mindset.
Yeah, I think one that a lot of people say is like make your bed every day. Because it's just like a small activity that like you wouldn't view it as taking care of yourself, but like you're checking something off a list and you're getting your day started right. And like that could be a form of just taking a second to set your day up better. That's really simple and easy to do.
All right. Now strategy number 2 will be the one to really dig in on. Embrace the 3 Ds.
The three Ds.
The 3 Ds. Delegate, delete, do less. So, where you'll end up seeing the overarching theme with this is most people are over-scheduled, overdoing it, and you're never going to be able to have self-care unless you just give yourself some time and realize now we almost like feel obligated to fill every second and always have a million plans, and that if you have any downtime, it's almost like you should feel guilty about that.
Yeah, like you're a failure because you have time free.
But this is why we are overstressed and struggling.
Yeah, as a whole, everybody.
You need to see downtime as a good thing, and that's going to start with creating it through the 3 Ds.
The 3 Ds.
So, delete, obviously, pretty self-explanatory, right?
Just take stuff out.
Look at your activities, your habits. We'll backstep. First, you need to know exactly how you're spending your time.
Awareness, right? Like we talk about with nutrition. Like you got to know what you're doing in order to change something.
And this one thing answers almost every problem anyone ever has is keep a journal of your time journal. Every 15 minutes in a day.
And then you realize like how much do I actually scroll through Facebook or Instagram?
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that time passes quickly for people. And so we never really actually think about how long am I doing this for? It's just, 15, 20 minutes here, 15, 20 minutes there, or you fill all of your empty gaps in your day with it.
Yep.
So it adds up to 3 hours across your day and you don't even realize it.
And here's the thing, people avoid doing it because it's uncomfortable. Because you know
how you're spending your time.
Yeah, and you know that the things you say you can't do, now all of a sudden, you can find the time. But you have to be super critical of how you spend your time. And most people just ultimately they don't want to think that we are that person who's spending time, wasting time on these things. So it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you have to do it. That's the only way to really dig in with this stuff. So keep a time journal for your day, 15-minute increments of everything you're doing, then dig in with it.
Yeah.
And then a good thing to do is starting to delete activities, right? So obviously your kids' swimming practice or soccer practice, you don't want to delete.
Yeah, that's a very important thing.
But then you may notice you have TV time or time spent on social media, scrolling on your phone, time wasted, or again, it's not wasted if you decide to do it, but you may realize, no, that's time I could be reading or going to the gym or going grocery shopping or meal prepping.
I think it's just prioritizing and figure out what are my most important things. And you could even rank stuff, how important are these activities that I normally do in a day or a week? And then, maybe your top 5 or so, you're going to make sure you do those, but anything under that might get taken out.
Yeah. So then after you delete a few things, which, yes, you're going to have to delete
things.
You have to. If you're complete chock full, whether it's even if half the stuff is somewhat time wasted, it's still things you have to delete. You have to not do these things, right? Or maybe not do them as much. Then from there, what can you delegate? Leverage your spouse, right? If you have one, you're fortunate, or even your kids at a certain age, or maybe it's even worth paying for certain things. You can delegate grocery shopping now.
Yeah, or a meal prep service, right? You get meals that are already prepared, so you don't have to cook them. You just heat them up.
So then you're delegating grocery shopping, cooking.
You can't delegate working out, though.
Yeah.
Someone else can't do that.
So what can you delegate? Can you get a kid or a neighbor or your kid to cut the grass? Can you get your spouse to maybe pack lunches? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and a lot of that, I think people maybe shy away from that sometimes because it does cost more money, right? Sometimes, if it's not your spouse or your kids, you might be paying for a service, but then just decide, is this worth it to me? Is this worth freeing up my time? And a lot of times it is, and just freeing up your sanity, right? Yep. And not being redlined all day because you're worried about fixing dinner at night when that's not your most important thing you have to do.
Yep. And then do less.
Yeah, just have less things to do.
So you've eliminated some things, you delegated some things. Now you need to fight the urge not to maybe add things and replace. And in the things you do add, make sure I'm going to take time to go to the gym or to take a bubble bath or to do nothing, So
doing nothing is doing something.
Yeah. You have to, at some point, eventually do less so you can recharge and have that self-care.
Yeah. And I think it's really hard now because there are a million things to do and we're always on the go, but fighting the urge to fill your time, I think is important. And people get shamed for not doing everything.
So that's a perfect point in that Good enough is good enough.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to be. Don't like get shamed or let whatever magazine or thing be like, this is what a perfect parent or person or productive.
Yeah.
You know, that you need to do all these things, that you have to have a jam-packed schedule.
Yeah. And if you're not doing X, Y, and Z, then you're failing. Well, maybe to the person who wrote that, but maybe not to you. And you have to decide like what's important to me, and, you know, am I neglecting anything? And if you're not, then, you know, tell them to kick rocks and just live your life however you want.
I think a lot of it stems from, like, look at this, like everything in your life doesn't have to be an A plus.
No.
Right? Maybe for one thing to be A plus, some other stuff has to be a B. And that's okay.
Or a C.
The problem is, you know, we're come up in school where you need to be straight A student, right? But the reality is, in the real world, real life, you need to prioritize things, which means some things get more attention, some things get less, and that's okay.
Yeah. Because you just can't have your attention on all fronts. You just can't do it. There's no way for a person to do it and stay sane. At least normal people. You know? Like, we just can't.
I mean, it clicked for me when I moved to, you know, the old neighborhood with the house, and I'll be driving to the gym and see like a neighbor with the best yard working on his yard. And then I'm like, I'm gonna work on the yard too, and then go, and you see how much all the stuff costs. But then I'll step back and think, hey, well, look, I'm actually going to the gym using this hour. That's a priority of mine. Maybe his is his yard, and ultimately I just don't have the time to do everything, and that's okay. I'm not gonna have the best yard, and ultimately, who is grass and dirt? Like, it doesn't matter.
It's fine.
So, I mean, it may matter to someone. That's their priority, which is fine. But hey, look, maybe they're struggling to find time to go to the gym, and there it is. Hey, like, could they hire someone to do their yard if they want to go take care of their body and health more? If they don't have that time and they're spending it, you know, on the yard, those are things you got to figure out.
Yeah.
But yeah, realizing there's kind of a give and take there, and you need to know. Like we said, go back to really keep a journal to know where your time's going, and then also you can probably add to that a priority list.
Mm-hmm. I think that's important.
And realize not everything has to be an A plus.
Yeah. That's a super hard one.
And then strategy number 3, separate your shoulds from your coulds.
Shoulds and coulds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really kind of a priority list for the most part.
And think of how many. So it's funny going through these. I've gotten pretty good about them. This is probably the one that I know I need to work on the most, because it's so easy to have that list of things you're going to do or want to do. Mm-hmm. Or even when I'll like go through my emails and be like, oh, this is all the stuff I have to address. And so you'll address some and keep some in there. Like, I'm going to get to that. Like 4 weeks later, you still haven't gotten to, it's a should. If it's a should,
do it.
Just do it. If it's not, it's like, just don't do it. Like,
don't do it.
Don't even make it.
Don't string yourself along.
Yep.
Like it's a should.
Should and could. Now my brain's like feels like smoke's coming out right now with these two words here.
Should and could.
Yeah. So shoulds ultimately a lot of times they'll take up our brain, right? Mm-hmm. So we're spending time thinking like we should
do this,
and we never do.
Yep.
But then we feel guilty for never doing it.
And then it's still there.
And then we keep saying, well, I'm going to get to it.
It's pretty much my life.
When you're not. Just say, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And move on. And then you're giving it no time or energy.
Yeah, this is probably my biggest one.
So kind of looking and noticing those things, you know, that you think you should do. And one fun thing they suggest, Precision Nutrition, they've done this. I've seen this before. It's kind of cool. I've seen it in other places as well, is you make a tournament-style bracket, you know, of all your shoulds and coulds.
March Madness, let's do it.
And, yeah, let them kind of go at it, and, you know, and tell you. So you take 10 things, and it helps you decide on really, hey, what's the one I'm going to do, you know? And a lot of times you need to do this, like, repeatedly,
yeah.
Because you always have more shoulds and coulds coming in, and you want to make sure your thing is your thing. So, yeah. I
like that one.
Yeah, and for me, I end up doing a good job. Like we even talked before, so, you know, where you can get distracted, and now this is my one thing. But I probably still let too many shoulds and coulds come in, which you also don't want to not do it. You always want to explore things. But
I think, you kind of have to leave the mind open a little bit, and then just kind of assess as you go. Otherwise, you might shut out some good stuff.
Yeah.
If you do that.
I think the real big key is making decisions on things quicker and sooner. You know,
And
so
the
don't let
longer
them
you wait, the
Yeah.
harder it is.
be like, I should or could do this thing, and I'm going to let it linger. And then every day, I got to do this, or I need to, or I'm thinking. And then you actually don't do anything.
And it gets harder.
Yeah. And
It's
then you
harder
feel-
to actually execute.
And you may even start to feel productive for just
Thinking about it.
thinking about it.
That's the hard one. Like, you know how we all get excited when we plan something,
Yeah.
and then I think that's enough excitement for us, and then we never execute. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what that is.
But then think about how good it feels when you finally just execute, in whether it's yes or no, or do this thing or decide not
I know.
to, and then it just doesn't take up space in your head anymore.
Do you want to know what pretty much my whole existence is? Me needing to do something and then putting it off for like 4 months, and then Whitney is like, "You need to do this."
Mm-hmm.
And then like I finally do it, and I'm like, "Man, that felt really good." She's like, "Yeah, why'd you wait so long to do it?" Every time. That's pretty much going to be that until the day I die. That's where I'm at right now.
It's like hanging that AED.
I know. Then it
Yeah.
finally got
Yeah.
done, and here we are.
And you don't even realize how much those little things, how good they can make you feel.
I know. And then you don't realize how much they add up to when you're like, "Damn, I got
Yeah.
like."
And
eight-
then, why didn't I do that?
That's my
why
most.
does-
Why didn't I do this already?
Why does the human brain work that way?
I think it's mine.
Yeah.
It's my brain.
Yeah. And then think of all maybe the stress it weighed when you should have just
Yeah, all those little stresses that add up, and this is stuff we've addressed before that we should probably listen to. But like, yeah, just do it. Don't think about it.
So yeah, the 3Ds:
3 Ds.
delegate,
Find someone else to do your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Delete. Take a couple things out that you don't need. We don't need to do everything.
and
What was the last one? Delete, delegate,
looking at my notes, do less.
do less.
I knew it was.
It was so
Yeah.
simple.
Delete, delegate,
It was too simple.
delete, delegate.
Just stop doing
do
so much
less.
stuff that you don't need to do.
Does that make you uncomfortable to hear that? If it does,
It makes me a little uncomfortable, and I do less.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do a lot.
I'm good at doing less.
You are. I think you're probably the best at it. Like, you manage it really well.
Alexis is amazed at like how much time I spend
Doing nothing.
on the couch with Arnie. I'm like, I'm recharging. I'm an old cell phone.
Dude,
You
it's
know how old
important.
cell phones need longer to recharge.
Oh, man.
But when you focus on the essentials and minimizing, you find the things that are super productive.
It's super rewarding, like, for you as a person.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about it. That's kind of our whole approach, right? With exercise and nutrition, it's like minimum effective dose.
Yeah. Why do more than you need to do if you
It's
can
super
get the
diminishing
same
returns.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you find that, and it applies in everything. Like I know business and relationships and all that.
everything? Give like enough. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not saying like, I guess do the bare minimum to just hang on for your life, but like there's a minimum effective dose for everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because remember, minimum effective dose doesn't mean minimum either.
yeah, it means like this is
Yeah, because the minimum dose, say with exercise, would be nothing.
exactly
Which is what a lot of people either do nothing, or I'm going to go 6 days a week
or
for 2 hours
everything.
a day
Well, let's do like the least to get us that best result.
to get us the most result
Yeah.
before diminishing returns kicks in.
Exactly. Just do that for everything.
And you can probably find the same thing in your work, in your again relationships, and
Yeah, like how much time do you waste at work, not
Yeah.
actually doing anything?
yep. And a big one, and we'll probably have to. We won't go too into this, so people won't start hating and throwing stuff at their radios. But
Their radios.
We'll get a parent on same thing. Like a lot of times, especially with kids, as they get into activity age, right? They probably don't need to do everything every second, have every
Nah.
minute of their
Kids,
calendar filled.
kids need to do less too. They need downtime.
Yeah. So fine. Hey, it's good to have them do some structured things so that they're on a team and getting the benefits of that. But then also probably some unstructured or just downtime, even
Creative
for
time.
yourself, right? So you don't have to spend all your time driving them everywhere to every place, and then starting to resent things.
We should have a parent on
So
because we're not parents.
Yeah.
People are gonna hate us for this.
That's what I tell my dog.
Yeah.
So you're not going to the dog park
Nah.
today,
Nah,
every day.
you don't need it. Say no just to say no
Yeah.
sometimes, just like my mom used to.
They stare at you.
Whatever. I can be the bad cop.
Minimum effective dose of treats.
Yeah. That.
I mean, that's a thing too, even for people.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if you ate cake every day,
Nah.
and then it's not a special treat no more.
Yeah.
You eat cake Special events
Only at birthdays.
still keeps its charm.
That's the other thing. Everything loses its luster if you do
Cake
it too
has no
much.
charm. Actually, I shouldn't use that.
I'm gonna be real. Cake. If cake's there and someone's like handing me a piece of it at a birthday, like I'll probably take it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Especially if they made it, and I know it'll hurt their feelings if I don't take it. But
I've had some good. I realize I like cake that has like butter or like cream cheese frosting.
do you?
Because my favorite growing up for my birthday, what I would always request would be a red velvet cake.
I knew you were gonna say that.
So is that cream cheese frosting?
See, I like red velvet with cream cheese frosting, but I don't like any other cake with cream cheese frosting. I just
We had a chocolate cake with like a cream cheese frosting. It was good.
buttercream. Buttercream. Or just butter. Slather.
But
it up.
anyways,
Just do less.
do less. Delegate.
Take inventory of your day. Mm-hmm. How do I spend my time?
So hopefully that helps. Gives
Yeah.
you some action steps because everyone's always like, I need more self-care and what am I? And a lot of times we focus on what we're gonna add.
Yeah, how like what else can I do?
I'm
And a
gonna
lot of
add
times
bubble
it's
baths and meditation and it's like, well,
stop
first,
doing 4 things in your day and chill.
Yeah. Well, now you're just adding more to your day. That's not gonna. Let's start with taking away stuff.
You have to.
That's step one. Being okay with doing less to free you up to do those things that are gonna
Actually impact you.
that you've been holding off. Your shoulds and coulds.
I got to go through my shoulds and coulds list today.
Shoulds and coulds.
I'm going to do them all.
That's a good rapper name.
Shoulds and coulds. That's you, man.
Yeah. Shoulds and coulds. It's one of those names where, like, if you were a rapper and, like, someone hears it, they're like, you got to Google it. Like, where do they come up with that name?
Yeah, like what is that?
Shoulds and coulds.
Precision nutrition article.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we'll catch you next
There
time.
you are. Strategies for self-care. Start there. Woof. That's the first hit song
There you go.
for shoulds and coulds.
Start there.
Self-care. Start there.
You're on to something.
Don't worry about what you're going to wear.
We got a recording studio right here. Stay tuned.
Hey, now this is going on my shoulds and coulds list.
Is it
Become a rapper. Now, see, I'm already
number one of
Oh,
your
we're doing it.
number one on your shoulds list?
Yeah. Become a rapper. Already have podcast studio.
We're good.
What could I take out of my day?
I don't
Cooking,
know. Cooking
dinner. I'm going to have to outsource that to my
Yeah.
wife. Tell Alexis, hey, I need you to start cooking dinner.
I got to start
I got
recording.
to go to the studio.
The look, man. I can already see it.
Mm.
She say no.
All right. Obviously, as you see, we got some things to
Yeah.
figure out here, hash out.
We got to figure it out.
All right, take it easy.
See ya. As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.